Right, we're a little bit further east, heading towards the Giralli mine, and we have another area where they've been doing drilling here. Now here we have what appears to be a capped well, and you can see by the cement lying around they haven't done any sort of clean-up job whatsoever, and they've allowed that to run down into the pit there. We'll go down and have a look at that pit shortly. From this hole here, trail here, straight down here again, straight into a sump. And again we can see evidence that the sumps have been very poorly constructed. You'll note that the sump wall has been breached by the liquid. It shows disregard and inability to work to rule. Now I note that this pit also has a hose in it, a siphon hose. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go and take that siphon hose out of that water at risk of being prosecuted for upsetting something, but I'm going to go and take it out right now. Another siphon pipe, Amanda. I can't believe that. Well, I'm pulling this one out because this is actually underwater and is quite possibly siphoning water as we speak. So out you come, pipe. And let's make it very, very clear to them that somebody knows what's going on by putting that up over that fence there.
What's that white stuff on the wall?
That would be some form of scum. It looks like they do use surfactants and soap type things to help drilling. Yeah. It could be that, but it's in a very interesting pattern on the water, the way that it's broken up like that. It could possibly indicate the flow. Yes, look at this. The level of that pit over there is clearly higher than the level of this pit here by that little join, which means that this one
is the opening out one.
Has been draining out.
You can see the level of which it's gone down too.
And you could estimate that that might be in the tune of, well, from what we can see with the watermark there, I would imagine that would be in excess of 10,000 litres that has possibly escaped into the environment or breached the plastic membrane. It goes to show how little care they take with their work.
This is the worst for wildlife.
It hasn't come back up again.
Yeah, it's here. But if I try to reach for it...
You might go in too, mate. I'm going to go and get a stick or something and see if I can get him to climb out. Amanda's caught this frog before it managed to jump back in the water, and she's going to throw it over the fence, I hope. But of course they're attracted to water because they're frogs. We take it down to the creek, but
this is the
there's one frog that's actually jumped in there. There's one frog stuck in there over on the edge of the plastic there, which we might see if we can get that one out.
They're death traps for our wildlife, sumps.
And you can see that the only thing they're trying to really keep out of here is cows. There ought to be fly wire mesh around all of these, completely covered in fly wire mesh to save insects and amphibious animals, lizards, etc.
Well, either that or there's bloody wildlife on the bottom that are breathing air, like a turtle or...
What is... Can you... you can clearly see bubbles coming up out of this water. You can clearly see bubbles coming up out of this water. Now, that could indicate a number of things, but there was clearly bubbles coming out of there. Well, one would have thought this water here would have been clean. We've had some good cleansing rain just recently, and you can see the colour of the water. It's just disgusting. Now we've just caught a frog up in one of the exploration sumps, and we brought it down to release, and we can't release it into this. We'll have to go somewhere a bit better than this if we can find somewhere these days. Another indication of surfactants that have been released, or some types of detergents that have been released into the river.
This creek used to run crystal clear.
No Name Creek Water River Station, and we paid a visit down here with PACT to discuss the platypus environment that's being destroyed as we speak through exploration, let alone through the coal mining that's going to come through. Another part of No Name Creek. We've come down to try and find somebody suitable to release the frog, and I might have to take it home with water with me instead. Listen to that. You can hear in the background the mine noise, and this is during the day while we have our normal daytime noises of the animals and stuff like that, and a little bit of traffic in the background. This gets considerably worse at night. This is Wards River Station, one of the arms of No Name Creek that's got the drill hole in it. And there's an example of the wildlife that lives here now that will of course have to be destroyed for the mine to continue. Just another chance to have a listening to the mine. Now there's an aeroplane in the background. Not quite as loud as the mine, but that's a jet aircraft. And of course nobody would stand for that jet aircraft noise 24 hours a day, would they? They wouldn't allow that to happen to people. Why the mine? This is what the community is going to face all over properties around the area as the mine keeps buying. They keep putting up these great big signs saying private property, no trespassing on their properties. What are they scared of? That people are going to see what they're doing? Yeah, well, you can see the dust that's created by all that, eh? And they're obviously happy to let that dust and smoke go off into the atmosphere and poison anybody who it happens to get near. This is the type of thing that we can expect to see. The mining, how they look after the environment, and do remediation. This has been fairly well trashed. They're spraying water into the air over there. You can probably only just see that. That spray of water. How they're getting up to the top of the hill here to run it down through the property and put it all through the river again.